Liverpool, the Premier League defending champions, took 28 days before they got their first goal in 2021. Wonderful times in the Premier League. Welcome to the show, The Nutmeg on Guardian TV. My name is Solomon Fowowe, and I hope you're keeping safe at home, wearing your face masks, social distancing, and adhering to all rules set by your state, by your country, wherever you're watching across the world. Welcome to the show. Once again, if you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you should absolutely do that. You should follow, like, subscribe on whatever platform you are watching right now. Yes, we're going to be talking a couple of things today. We're talking Arsenal, Manchester United, and a little extra on the show today. Welcome once again to the show, and joining me virtually on this show, because I'm not going to be alone on this show, even if there's no one here in the studio with me, but virtually from his base in the United Kingdom, is Amos Joseph. He's a football scout and also a football journalist. It's great to have you join us on the show today, Joseph.
Yeah, thank you so much, Solomon, for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the show with you this morning. There's a lot to talk about in the world of football, but we'll just stay with what focus that you've got this morning for me.
Also, just to get to it straight up, we're going to be talking Arsenal against Manchester United, previewing that game. But before we get into that, I think it's only good for us to talk about Arsenal, who have had a bit of a resurgence, or have hit a bit of purple patch. In the past 6 games, they've not lost, and that started in that game against Chelsea, where the former Chelsea manager, that's Frank Lampard, was actually at the helm at that particular place. So there's been a bit of a change for this Arsenal side. It has gone from calls for a Arteta sack to them coming on a 6-game unbeaten run. Coming into this Manchester United game, and with a bit of confidence, you'd want to say, against this side that is currently second on the log. And Arsenal have actually climbed up the table now. They're currently 9th on the log. So I think my question would be, what has really changed? What has sparked the change in this Arsenal side?
I mean, if you look at the Arsenal team, currently placed ninth position on the EPL log, you'd say, oh, this is not where Arsenal should be, right? You just imagine finding Arsenal. If you're a regular football fan that is not an ardent football follower, you just say, oh, why is Arsenal on ninth? That's weird. You expect that, oh, Arsenal should be one of the best teams, in quotes, in England. But the reality is that in the past couple of years, you found that Arsenal has been a bit down the top four or down the top six, as you would have it. You have teams like West Ham, you have teams like Tottenham, Everton, who are way ahead of Arsenal at this point in time. But the reality is that, looking at the season so far, Arsenal has had it rough. They've had it tough, and they've got to deal with the fact that some of their old players have been freezed out of the team. To mention Mesut Ozil, and then they also brought on a couple of quite mature players who they expect so much from, that have not really
Interesting.
gelled with the team.
Mm.
Talking about William and the likes. So something significant that changed for Arsenal was that Mikel Arteta, just like Frank Lampard that you mentioned earlier, has also found his belief, or perhaps the board of Arsenal have also been able to believe in what they've got with their youth players. Throw on youth players, put some belief in them, and then see what they can come up with. Now look at the likes of Saka, Smith Rowe. Look at what they're doing. You know, these guys have been able to muster the courage to ensure that they put out their best at every point in time. They've been putting up the sort of performance that you expect from any player playing in top flight. That is, in terms of Saka, in terms of Smith Rowe, and then a couple of young players as well who are also joining the fray.
Quite interesting take there. And you said something quite brilliant there, talking about, the young lads that have really come into their own in this particular club side. That's Arsenal. You're talking about likes of Martinelli. You spoke about Martinelli, who comes in once in a while. You talked about Saka, who has been one of their very, very brilliant players, and Emil Smith-Rowe, who came into that side. And just to touch on another young player that has come into this side, quite recently, that's Martin Odegaard from Real Madrid. What's your prediction for this lad?
Any day, anytime, 22-year-old Martin Odegaard would be regarded as a very fine midfielder. He was expected to have blown, in quotes, when he was signed off by Real Madrid. He burst onto the scene at a very quite young age, and then so much was expected of him, but he had to be loaned out uh, just for him to garner some experience. And I feel like he has already garnered a few years of experience playing outside of Real Madrid, joining the squad again. Also Ceballos coming from Spain. For Arteta to have thought of bringing on Martin Odegaard, there is something he has seen, right? Odegaard is also one of those midfielders who are quite composed, who can pass the ball, who can drive the attack. These are some of the things that Mesut Ozil would bring on to you. That intelligent passing, that creative spark that you expect from a number 10. I'll just mention a few of the achievements. Mesut Ozil was quite successful at Arsenal.
All right.
He might not have won the league, but he
Yeah,
won the
yeah.
FA Cup. He got quite a number of assists. He has done quite well for the team, and he has scored a few goals as well. When you have someone like Mesut Ozil good with you, trust me, it's a whole lot of work for this young lad that is coming on board. And then I hope that the weight is not going to be too heavy on him.
Oh, Arsenal fans have a whole lot to be excited about when it comes to Martin Odegaard. Really, really huge comparisons to Mesut Ozil there by Amos. And just before we leave, it's important that we touch on the preview itself, Manchester United, Arsenal against Manchester United, and this United side. If we're going to be talking about them now, we've seen them also do so well, when it comes to their form. But their last game against Sheffield United, they actually lost that game in surprising fashion because Sheffield United had not won away from home in the Premier League, and they actually won that particular fixture surprisingly. But do you think this is a blip for Manchester United now they've dropped to second on the log, or it's going to show that they have so much, going for them when it comes to the Premier League race, and they're going to be bouncing back against Arsenal?
It's going to be a very tough tie, actually. A Manchester United tested or tasted the top of the log and then displays just
All
maybe
right,
about
that.
a week or thereabouts. There's so much to say about this game because you need to also look at where Manchester United is coming from. A lot of people never believed that they were going to actually hit top mark. And that's why someone like Dwight York could say that whoever is not wishing Ole well at this point in time is quite jealous of him. And the reality is Ole is not doing badly at Manchester United. If someone who has been asked to be asked out of the team, if someone who has been clamored to be asked out of his position is now on top of the log or is now in second position, you want to give credit to such a person. Now let's go to the game where they lost against Sheffield. I mean, it was just a game that Manchester United were not going to win, and Sheffield on the day put out their best performance. In fact, Sheffield ought to have scored earlier in the game. So it tells you that hey, everybody wants to compete. There's something to compete for, and Manchester United would like to really make a point at this point in time. This is their season. If provided everything works out well for them, this is the season for Manchester United. They have like a chance to win a double in the English in England if they can win the FA Cup, if they can win the Premier League. They've got everything they need. They have their players at their peak. They have someone like Pogba who seems to be getting his mojo back. They've got a Fernandez who can turn things around. Look at when he was brought in against Liverpool and then did the magic. They've got players up front who just need to get things right at every point in time. If only um, Marcus Rashford could always make the right decision at the right time, things would have been a bit more different from Manchester United. And then for Arsenal, you would agree with me that um, bragging rights is at stake. Ninth position, you want to move up ahead. Also, you have to also look at the last time that these guys met. What was the score? What was the score line? What happened in the past? Everybody wants to understand what the game would be like. For Manchester United and for Arsenal, it's going to be a real dogfight. Uh, the boys at Arsenal are beginning to find their feet. They are beginning to connect. They are beginning to work well. Manchester United at the back line would have a lot to deal with. But the question again would be, or whoever makes the most of their chances would win this one.
Yeah, true. Manchester United have really had it good this season with Fernandes and Pogba and a couple of other players, clicking in together. I'm sure a whole lot of Manchester United fans are not going to be happy with, what the way Anthony Martial has been really, really playing for now. But moving away from that, let's get your predictions now for that particular fixture. Well, let's see what you are seeing in your crystal ball, in that particular fixture, Arsenal against Manchester United. How do you think it's going to go?
I see goals in this match. Actually, I see goals in this match, but it's going to. I expect like a 2-1 win for Arsenal in this game. 2-1 win.
Spoken like a true Arsenal fan, giving the day to Arsenal. Thank you so much for talking to us on the show today. Amos, it's been an absolute pleasure having you.
All right. Thank you so much, Solomon, for having me.
Great. So that was Amos talking to us from his base in the United Kingdom, sports journalist and certified scout. And just so you know, there are a couple of other great games lined up for this weekend. Yes, we've got, Barcelona against Atletico Bilbao. They actually lost in the previous meetup that they had. That was at the Super Copa final. But this time I'm looking to what is going to be happening in that particular fixture. And, something that is going to be keen interest to many people across the world is that game between Chelsea and Burnley, because it's going to be Thomas Tuchel's first Premier League game, and we're going to be seeing what changes is going to be bringing at that Chelsea side. Real Madrid are also going to be facing Levante over the weekend, and it's going to be a really wonderful weekend of football. I hope you get to enjoy it the same way I enjoy my weekends with football and the Nutmeg. Thank you so much for watching the Nutmeg. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure presenting this to you. My name is Solomon Fowe, and this has been the Nutmeg.